So we are back, putting this transmission back together. Finally got the parts I needed. I was in Florida for a little while, so obviously wasn't working on it then. But as you can see here, I have the drum back in with the new bushing on it. So all that there is good. The main problem with this transmission was when Laverne and I put it back together, we put TH350 sealing rings in. I don't know where those came from. That was a kit that Laverne had laying around, whatever. But ended up being all right because there were some bushings that were bad and stuff like that I had to replace. So I just went ahead and did so. So I replaced, this is the drum bushing that was shot, and then I don't have any of the other ones, but these little bushings right in there, you can kind of see them. Those are for the ringless input shaft. This is what they look like new. And they were pretty worn out. They're supposed to have like 2 thou clearance on them, and these had like 8. So they ride right here on this input shaft, on this shiny part where my finger is, and they are kind of a pain in the butt. So I ordered 3, and I put them in. I accidentally pushed the second one in too far. The first one was good, but then the input shaft didn't fit. So then it was a whole ordeal, and I had to take them back out. I ordered 8 bushings. And so for everything that I can see, you just put them in. As long as you put them in square, they're pretty much dead on. But Devin helped me a lot. Devin is my boss, and he said these are very similar bearings that they use on like a lot of John Deere stuff or even old snowmobile stuff. And so he said 9 times out of 10 you gotta hone them. So I put these ones in, machined them, did all that fun stuff, and then we honed them, and now it's about 1.5 thou clearance on everything. So we should be all good. I used this. This is how I held on to them to machine them, basically. The bushing goes over the skinny part right here, just like this. And then it's just like a nice little mandrel, basically. So you can just clamp on the chuck right on here. And then actually the depth is about right. So if you machine from the face of this to the face of that, that's about how much you need to take off, at least for this particular one. And then I made this little driver to install them. So tapped them in with a hammer. I mean, they go in relatively easy. I don't know if this thing just isn't square, just the whole drum, or what, but they just weren't round. So when I was checking them, had plenty of clearance on one side, not enough on the other. So we ended up using a small pin honed them out. Now they're round again. Everything fits good, so we should be in good shape. So I'm gonna slap the pump back in this thing, and then it's pretty much ready to go. Got the band back, and got to set the band adjustment, and then I got this new Sunax. Their smart tech servo, because apparently some of the factory ones have issues, and that's what I had in it, was just a factory servo deal. So we should have some nice pieces in there now. I kind of think that the factory servo was part of my staging issue, because they said it does cause staging problems. And if you remember, when I had like the fancy way of bumping in set up in the Holly, where I used the PMW and everything, it would not move. Or it would move, and then all of a sudden it would jump really far, or then it wouldn't move, and then all on the same settings. So hopefully this should eliminate any staging problems, which, as you know, I haven't had any more, and I'm probably not going to change it because it works, but just a preventative thing. Apparently this is like a big band failure, or if that cover cracks, then you'll dump 8 quarts of transmission fluid underneath of your car, which wouldn't really be that fun. So that's all squared away. Now I'm just going to put the pump in, torque it all down, and we should be ready to put this back in the car. All right, so it has been a few days, but I just finished up the transmission right now. It's all ready to go back in the car, so hopefully it works. Didn't have a gasket the other day, so I had to order some, but got her all in now. Other thing that I kind of was struggling with was putting the Teflon sealing rings into the drum when you're assembling the pump into the transmission, basically. So I know you can use grease and stuff like that, and like I do, but I couldn't get the grease to actually hold. So I just put a whole bunch of grease on it, then slapped the drum over the pump for a couple days, and then they kind of just formed in there, and then the pump just fell right in. So nice. And then another thing, I think you put them away, but when you're putting your pump in, it makes it extremely easy if you have an alignment pin. So Summit sells them, they're 3/8. I don't know if all transmissions are 3/8 for the pump bolts, but this one's 5/16. So I just took a 5/16 long bolt, cut the head off, makes it real easy to just slide that bad boy right in. All aligned, all the bolts go in, everything is all good. So we're
looking good so far. So hopefully I can get this transmission in, and I don't know if I'll be able to drive it home tomorrow. It's rainy and it's supposed to get cold and snow. But I'll probably drive it home one of these days here this weekend, and then start wrenching, start making more videos and all the cool stuff. So I think I'm gonna go put this in tonight, and then we'll see where we get. This video is a huge cluster F because it has been 3 weeks, maybe even a month since I started actually filming the video. So I know you've seen before, working on the transmission, got all that sorted out, got it done, and then you've seen the car running. So it is back in the car, and the car is back at my house now. So that is super nice. What I'm currently doing is working on getting this big intercooler stuffed up in here. Believe it or not, it does fit under the bumper as it sits right there. So I'm gonna keep plugging away on that, but I'm just gonna wrap this video up, and then we can start on all that stuff once I have a little bit of time. But so, as you've seen, I think it was in the last video, I made that 3-pump billet fuel hat. It would be this one right here. 3 pumps. Pretty simple. And I said I was going to make a 4-pump one. So the 4-pump one is done. You can see it right there. I kind of changed a whole lot on it. I don't have a 4th pump because I don't have a 4th pump on me at the moment. But yeah, this one turned out pretty awesome. So I actually like this one a lot more. This one bolts into the fuel, or to the top of the fuel cell around the ring. And there's O-rings on every piece on here so nothing can leak. And then there is actually, it's the rubber boot for a Deutsch connector, and it is sandwiched in between that little square where them wires go in, and then the actual top of the hat. So that can't leak either. So I do plan on selling these. So far, I think the price will be $700-ish. I know it seems expensive, but they do take quite a bit of time to make. Probably have 13 hours in programming and running 5 of these fuel hats. So I have 5 currently, and this is the one I'm showing you right now, and potentially 2 more are going to someone already. But they make a little bit of time. Now that everything's programmed and I kind of know how I'm going to do it, you can really just load them in and run them. I mean, the top, the lid here takes probably 30 minutes to run. The piece below it's probably about 30, 35, and then really the long part is the part that has the little seal in it for the wires. That one, just because it's a little tiny pocket, that takes a little bit of time to machine. I might try to do it a little differently if I redo it, which the programming on that, just to redo one simple operation, will take like 2 seconds. And then the other piece probably takes 40 minutes to make one. So if you have 3 machines, you can whip them out pretty quickly. Now that they're all set up, you know, we'll see how everything goes, and maybe the price will change, but for right now, that's what it's going to be. Yeah, I'm really happy with the way they turned out. This one will go to Steven, so I'm excited for him to try it, so we can see if anything leaks, if there's any problems. I really don't think there will be, but you know, you never know. It's kind of R&D right there. Yeah, so that's pretty much going to wrap this video up. Sorry, it wasn't really too exciting. I just seemed like every time I had to do something, I was in a hurry. Like making those, sometimes, you know, you only have the machine set up a specific way for a couple days, and I had it set up in a configuration that would work for running those. I did the both the top pieces in a big mill turn Mazak machine, so switching chucks and stuff like that can be a pain in the ass. And then if you got stuff that I'm running for Indy, then, you know, you just can't do it. But I happen to have both chucks on at this point in time, so I was like, this will work really good. This is a great time to do it. And I'll probably be switching back to the collet here in the next couple days, and then I won't be able to run these again. So that's kind of how that is now. You know, obviously if I start selling them, then I'll start fitting that into the time frame that I have for making stuff. But, you know, it gets to be tricky. But now that we're done with that, it's basically all onto the car. So I should be able to start making more regular videos because I have a decent amount of stuff to do. As you can see, that thing is hanging there with a ratchet strap only. So there'll be plenty of stuff to do there. I still have to install my fuel hat onto this thing. And then I kind of just got to think about if I'm going to change the alternator or if I'm going to change the headers. I know we discussed some of that. I'm kind of thinking about just leaving this exactly the way it is and trying to come up with a plan for the alternator. And that's about all I got. So just got to basically get it ready for testing and then probably go help Brandon because he's got a lot of work to do on his car too. So we should have some fun here in the next few months. But that's going to wrap this one up. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. Sorry for it being a shitty video. I will be making better ones now that I'm kind of back on a regular schedule. I was on vacation for a while and then making these. I mean, this is only a day, but the car's been sitting here for a week now and I really haven't done nothing to it except for hang that thing on there. But now I can get back to working on the car, making videos, all that good stuff. So thanks for watching.